It's great. Guys, what is up? Happy Thursday to you. It's super late Thursdays, right? But I got a good reason why, guys. I gotta tell you, it is Thursday today, and here, whoop, whoop. Struggle Thursdays, man. Struggle Thursdays. There we go. Struggle Bus Thursdays. That's what we're gonna start calling this, right? Man. There we go. Guys, I made it. I'm in here. What is going on? Man, it has been awesome, guys. Thank you for tuning into the channel. Jeff is on his way. Look, we had some family stuff that we had to tend to. And so Jeff's over there doing family stuff there. However, guys, I knew I was gonna push the envelope and try to get here on time, but I had to do it for a good cause, guys. And I'm gonna show you why I did it if I can do that. And let me see here. I'm trying to do it very quickly so I can show you guys what I was up to and why Mr. RC Plane Reviewer was late today. So let's see here. Did I do it right? I think I did it right. Yeah, there we go. So I'm sure you guys are P51 says Bobby's second family is behind him. Hey, that's right. Absolutely. But what's going on, Jeremy Stoll? How are you doing? Let's see. Snowbird says, I think your shirt is making StreamYard freak out. I think it is too, dude. I see that it's doing something different. Yeah, it doesn't know how to handle the camo. So that's funny. But it's even making my eyes freak out. But guys, I want to show you something why I was running a little behind schedule today. So let me just see if I can bring up a picture so you guys can see. Also, I wanted to let you guys know we're going to have an abbreviated show tonight. Why? Because they're going to have the debates. And I'm sure some of you guys want to watch the debates. And so we wanted to make sure, me and Jeff want to make sure you get the opportunity to watch the show and not have any, any stops or anything like that. So I'm trying to be respectful of your time and you guys hanging out with us and everything. So, but that's what we're going to do. So, we might cut out a little early. I personally actually want to watch it too as well. Whether it be a circus or whatever, I think it's going to be, for me, it's pretty important for me to pay attention, that kind of stuff. And again, entertaining. So, but yeah, back to the airplanes. I'm going to try to show you guys what exactly I was doing. But I hope you guys are having a happy Thursday. Man. And I am just trying to get these pictures up here. Let me see. Not that one. And let's see here. Aha, that one. Found it. And go to my downloads. Open. We're going to download that one. You guys just hang in there with me. And I promise it will be cool. It will be cool. And actually, I was out there with RC Pilot Will. He went out there and remade his Aerofoam L39 from Banana Hobby. So he had success too. So it was one of those days where, you just want to get out there and you want to fly and you wanted to get it together. So, and we made it work. So let me jump into the comments here. Let's see here. And guys, you're absolutely right, Victor. Dude, it has been ungodly hot here in North Carolina. It has been crazy. 100 degree, 105 on the heat index, like 99-degree days with like 90% humidity. I'm from the South. I'm used to this kind of stuff. And let me tell you, even I'm like, I can't fly in this stuff. But me, TJ, and Will braved the heat and went out and flew Sunday and got some really good footage. Flew the Banana Hobby SU-27 awesome flying airplane, guys. That went so well. Super impressed with that airplane, twin 64 millimeter. Awesome flying airplane. Got more footage of the e-flite super timber, and that video is out, guys. So don't know if y'all saw that or not, but I'm telling you, really, really, really good flying there. Also, I have the guy, the Avios Super Tucano, and haven't flown that one yet, but we're going to do the video on that one. And so waiting for some really nice weather. Seems like things are calming down late in the evening. So I had to take the opportunity and run out today to go get this footage because what I was up to, guys, was I was out doing the maiden flight of this bird right here. And let me get out the way. Can I get out the way? Can I get out the way? Here, let me take you out of here. I'm going to show you guys. Here we go. You're wondering what I was doing? That's what I was doing, guys. Man, and that is the that's a turbine bird too. So really neat to fly the EDFs, the big EDFs, and fly the turbines and have the difference in between the two. So but guys, this heat has been unbearable, man. I have never wanted to fly so much in my life and been too hot to want to go out there and fly. So jumping into the comments here. Let's see. Guniak says, but the nation has already done Labius Onus. Let's see here. And yep, Johnny Stansel's right. It has not rained here at all, which is weird for North Carolina because typically in the summertime, when it's this hot, you can guarantee it's going to rain every afternoon. But we have not had any rain whatsoever. So Winston says Wednesday's temp was smoking 102 degrees here. So yeah, but super crazy. So it's like the whole country is under like a heat wave, man. So pretty interesting. It's definitely affecting the country across. Pops 305, what's going on? He says I ordered the Aerofoam 105 EDF F22 and I need an afterburner for it. Who makes one? Guniak does. Guniak Fiery Booty. Hit him up. He's got some good stuff over there and he'll take good care of you. So Guniak, hook up Pops 305 with one of your burners and send it. Send it. Mountain RC, what's going on? He says, is there a point when it's too hot for a turbine? That's a very good question, which which leads to one of the topics I was going to talk about. Is it too hot for RC airplanes? And the question is, no, it's not. I'll tell you. One thing is, we'll talk about the individual airplanes. So electric airplanes, I will say I would be very careful. Why? Because lipos, right? Lipos need air to cool to keep low. ESCs need air to cool to keep temperatures down. The motors need air to keep cool to keep temperatures down. If your ambient air temperature is around 100 degrees, then you're flying that thing. As soon as it's stopped, that heat is going to heat sink and it's going to get hot. And you can really fry or stress a motor or an ESC like that. Also, your lipos too. Remember, a hot lipo is not necessarily a good thing. Puffy is definitely not good. Snow River, you bring up a good point. On your foam planes, the cockpits are going to bubble. The foam is going to gator. You ever see that? Your foam where it looks like the little individual bubbles? That's called gatoring. It's going to gator. So that's one thing that you have to worry about. Now, nitro and gas planes, they don't care about heat at all. Nitro planes, you have to tune them just a little bit for the heat. You do have to, change the needle settings on it. because the air's thicker. So obviously you're going to have to change that. You're either going to have to lean or richen up the high end. Your gas planes aren't really affected much by the heat. Actually, you can kind of set it and get it, forget it on those. Um, they're not really affected. Now, your turbines, they don't care about heat at all. And I was looking in here, and Victor was right. He's absolutely right. Turbines don't care about heat at all. Why? Because they normally run around like 600 degrees out the exhaust. So it doesn't bother at all. One question that I asked Chris at HSD Jets, does the foam on the turbine jets, like, is that bad for it when it's hot outside like this? And his answer was, no. Foam acts as an insulator. We use it for coolers to keep things hot and keep things cold. So, it's really unaffected by it. And I thought that was, pretty good about that, because honestly, I had questions about that too, guys. So, no, not at all. But that's just one of the things. P51 fan, hey, we can talk about the helis too. I mean, why not? Helis don't care about much of anything. They don't care about air because they beat it into submission. They don't care much about heat because, they just are chopping air and everything like that. But, these airplanes are really good, but it has been extremely hot, man, extremely hot. So RC Flying Veteran says, I flew my Carbon Z Cessna 150 on Wednesday and hit some hot pocket and it dropped 5 feet like there was no air. Yeah. So these are all things that, we're having to get used to dealing with and, flying with. It's just been really, really phenomenal. But one of the things, like, can you fly in it? Yeah. My comfort level for me is if it's around 90 degrees, I don't really enjoy flying. In the summertime, I become a fair weather flyer and I'll start going out from about 3 p.m., 4 p.m. ish. And then I'll stay till, 8:30, 7 o'clock, like that. That's what I typically do. So it's been really, really good. It's been really good. But these are all good questions that you guys have. So don't know if you guys noticed or not, but Banana Hobby has a new X-Fly twin 40 millimeter F-18. That one should be dropping. Stolt graced us with his appearance last show and showed us the airplane, so I'm super stoked about that. That's going to be a good one. I also have a what is it? The X-Fly airliner coming with the twin little 50s, either 40s or 50s, I believe. So that one's coming. And so we're going to do a review on that one. So that'll be cool. I'm really intrigued with these 64 and these little 40 twins and 50 millimeters. Like, they've kind of changed my whole concept of flying. So it's going to be great. But yeah, moving right along. HSD Jets T45 has been maidened. It went well. There was a lot of trimming going on. And I wanted to talk about airplanes in general. You have your beginner, your intermediate, and your expert. And you'll see where people will, jump into the hobby and they go straight for like the intermediate to the expert stuff. There's nothing saying that you can't do that at all. And there's nothing wrong with it at all, except your journey may be a little bit more difficult. You may be the anomaly and you can jump in and you fly really great and you do a good job. But and you don't tear up any airplanes. But that's very, very few. It doesn't happen a lot. And if some of you guys are in here, key up and let us know, how that went. Because for me, I started at like crawling and then I walked and then I started running, that kind of thing. So, but man, I'll tell you, as we're talking about airplanes and things like that, the HSD T45 is one smooth flying turbine jet. Is super smooth. I was full throttle. I flew it today, the hardest ever. Flew it wide open, and it was just locked in solid. And no gyro. So I love flying things without gyros when we do the reviews, so you guys can see exactly what it does, unless it has AS3X. But that airplane, man, was phenomenal. So Really impressed with that, and the scaleism of that airplane is just great. T-45s have a nasty stall tendency if you get them too slow, like everything else. And honestly, most of the stalls are unrecoverable. RC Pilot Will, he was out there with me, and he's one of the reasons why I was late to the show. But he was out there with me. I'm just kidding. But he was out there with me, and man, he saw it. He saw it for himself. It flew great. It was awesome. I need work on my landings, with that bird, and it comes in a little hot, but I got it right the first and the last time, and we just need a smoother fill too. But yeah, guys, let's see here. Seth Greenberg says I bought the Blue Angel Twin 40 and I can't wait. These little Twin 40s, man, have been impressive. Like the airplanes are impressive. I'm jumping into the comments here. Michael, what's going on, man? Look, Michael's one of our day ones, dude. He was been in the channel since we kicked this bad boy open. I had 6 people that were watching the live show, and now we fluctuate from anywhere from 40 to 50, 60 people or more. And he's been there. He says if you're flying and it's too hot, take a break because the hot dogs cook faster. He's right. And that's another thing too. That's a good point, man. A lot of fields have like grills and things like that where you can go and cook. We have one at our field, and I'm like, we need to grill out more, man. Like, so that's something that we really need to indulge in when we're with these clubs and hanging out with guys with minds and everything that enjoy flying. We really need to do about it. Let's see about that. Big Darcy says only the RC gear. I try to not leave them in the sun long anyway. Yeah, for sure. I never keep my lipos, and I carry my lipos in an ammo can. I always put them out of the sun so they're not hot and that kind of thing. Hacker Hobbies, what's going on? Let's see. He says turbines do care about heat. If it's too hot, you can flame out or cell, which is why turbines have seasonal settings. Yeah. So there you go. That's his 2 cents. And there you have it. So yeah, he says it does. It does carry it, and you can have flameouts too, and I've seen it. So, but from the multiple experts that I dealt with, and I'm talking about people with Shui Wind, that sell them and everything like that, they have all said that it's no problem. Stolt Productions, he flies out in the desert where it's 110 degrees. Them boys don't ever have any problems. So, and I'm flying mine without seasonal settings. Of course, in the wintertime, you're absolutely right. You definitely want to change it. So, but from the factory, they have that one setting, and then you can change it. I would say not seasonal is one thing. I would say probably your elevation is your number one thing that affects the turbine more so than anything. Let's see here. P51 fan says we grill all for all of our events. Hot dogs, brats are very popular. Yeah, man. That's the stuff that summer's about right there when you're flying. The hot dogs, the brats, hanging out with the guys, that kind of thing. So, yeah, man, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Been having a good time with the turbines. Let's talk about it though. Just flying jets, we can even take the turbines out. Just flying EDF jets in general can be stressful, but it's rewarding. I was talking to Jeff on the way over here, and I was telling him that, flying the jets, man, it makes you appreciate your prop plane so much better. Why? Because like there's a certain level of stress that's involved in and stress when I'm talking about like Hager Hobby says, flame outs, just paying attention, trying to make sure you're being safe and that kind of thing. Oftentimes, you're out there flying, you have your bottom jaw open and bugs flying in there, and you're like a kid just having a good time, thinking about nothing other than the airplane. But when you fly the turbines and everything like that, and then you switch over to your prop planes, man, it just makes it more enjoyable. It's like going from flying an EDF jet to flying a Cub or flying something like that. It just makes it so much more enjoyable. What do you guys think? Put in the comments. What do y'all think? Is it more enjoyable or anything like that? So let's see here. I'm going to jump into the comments. Stoltz says, haven't found a heat issue in turbines, Shriwin or King Tech. So yeah, that's kind of what I found. I did a bunch of research, and I spoke to a bunch of gurus about the turbines to see if I should be worried about flying in heat and things like that. And I heard that. Let's see. Orlando D, what's going on, man? He says it is stressful for sure. Do any of you guys ever get stressed out with the EDF jets now? I don't get stressed out. The only time I get stressed out is when I'm flying in heavy wind. Um, and do you guys find like the EDF jets are relaxing, or are they pretty stressful, or do you enjoy the stress? Like it's interesting because a lot of people, like, when you're flying airplanes, they'll look at these EDF jets and they're like, man, I don't know how you keep up with it. Like you guys know, after you fly a bunch of EDF jets for a couple of times, they don't seem that fast, like they're quick, but they don't seem that fast. So it's very interesting. Jeff has a big bird, a big, what I think it's like a 75 or 80C gas plane that hauls the mail. Hager Hobbies, he's got Mustangs that do like 155 or faster. That's fast, but it's very interesting how your speed changes with everything. So let's see here. Orlando said it's stressful. Rob Bender says I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it just makes you really appreciate it for sure. Snow says, for those of you in the heat wave, it's 55 and mist here all day today. Snow River, where are you at, man? I think you're up in like what? I know you're north. Are you in Canada? I would love to have some cool weather. Matter of fact, guys, let's ask this question. What, in your opinion, this will be fun. Boom. Oh, he's in Seattle. All right. What is the most stressful EDF jet? That's what I'm wondering. What is the most stressful EDF jet that you guys have? One that, it's like the Hanger Queen, the one you don't want to fly a lot. So let's see here. I'm looking. Let's see. RC Paulo Will says the MiG-29 is okay. It's not as stressful, but I've learned the jet. Exactly. Yeah, Seattle, man, is that's the every time I think of Seattle, I think of that movie, Sleepless in Seattle. And it was like rainy, misty, that kind of thing. Let's see here. So, Mountain RC, he says, I think jets to me feel pretty natural. I feel like my skills progress flying faster jets. I would agree with you. Flying the EDF jets, man, it just makes you a better pilot overall. And some of you guys may fly the EDFs and some of you guys may not. But I always urge you guys to push the envelope, man. Don't get stuck in your comfort level. I've noticed where people get stuck in their comfort level and they fly the same stuff, they don't last long in the hobby. Now you may be the anomaly that enjoys that kind of stuff and you know what you like and that kind of thing. But I'm always about pushing to the next waypoint. Like I started out with, nitro planes. Then I started out with gas planes. Then I went to electric. I kind of did that backwards. And then I went to EDF jets. And then I went to turbines. So cover the full spectrum, man. And, I think it's just made me a better, well-rounded pilot. I'm not the best pilot. I don't know everything about it, but I do know how to fly a lot of airplanes and I know how to handle their flight characteristics. And I also know how to deal with all kinds of crazy anomalies that happen in the air. The T-45, I stalled it, believe it or not, in a turn coming around. I stalled it and it dropped the wing and then I corrected it, so it's one of those things. Let's see here. So Rob Ender says your first one, absolutely. Your first airplane is always the most stressful airplane for sure. The Freewing F-15, man, the Freewing F-15 is just a hog of an airplane. And by the way, while we're talking about F-15s, pay close attention. HSD Jets, Chris went on the HSD Jets group, and if you're not a part of that group, join it. And ask, what schemes do you like your F-15s in? So he wouldn't ask what schemes you like F-15s in if there wasn't something in the pipe. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So sometimes you got to read in between the lines. Let's see. I don't have it, but the F-104 looks nasty. P-51 fan? Absolutely. I flew the F-104, and I had success, man. It flew really, really good. That airplane is the one that made me the most nervous. Um, and the flying wasn't bad. Coming around, it looks like a cigar, and it's silver, so you can't see the silhouette. The wings are literally like 6 inches a piece. So that means that you can't get it slow. Now, the airplane is long, man. It's like landing a cigar. And literally the tail will like touch the ground. And you guys know those F-104s killed more pilots in training than actually flying. Snow River says the F-18 seems to be sketchy. I agree. The F-18 is the only airplane that I have not owned yet. And it's because I've seen TJ, Jeff, Will crash F-18s, man. And I'm just like, why? I'm not gonna spend $400 or $500 on an F-18 just for it to go in. But after a couple of flights, those guys got them dialed in, and it was fine. But that F-18 is super sketchy. I'll co-sign with you on that one. Seth Greenberg says FMS F-18 70 millimeter doesn't fly easy. I would agree. Orlando says I have a love-hate relationship with any Delta wing. You know, man, I'm not a Delta wing kind of guy. I don't like the way they fly, honestly. But I will say the Eurofighter's been kind of cool. That one flew really well. They just fly differently. Starfighter is definitely scary. Victor RC Jet says the F-104 is extremely difficult to land, but flies great. Yeah, surprising. Rob Bender says, Bobby, how do you get over maiden flight anxiety? Ooh, that's a good question. How do I get over maiden flight anxiety? Honestly, this is how I get over it. When I get it, I taxi it out, I line it up on the field, and I say, send it, you know? And I focus on flying the airplane, like literally. And the most anxiety that I've had has been with surprise, surprise, the turbine jets. And it's because of a couple of factors. It's because safety, right? Flameouts, don't know how it flies, right? And then like if it goes in, is it going to start a fire? Is it going to be a problem? Is it going to be an issue? That kind of thing. So it's a lot going on with those airplanes that make me super nervous that give me anxiety. But I'm telling you, man, I literally have come to the conclusion that most of these airplanes fly really well. And also when I fly an airplane, um there's a certain type of airplane that I enjoy flying, so I know the flight characteristics of it, so it makes me a little bit comfortable. Um, and so I try to stay close to that. But every now and then I'll go far out and try something that I haven't flown. But I try to do a lot of research and talk to a lot of people to see how it handles. For instance, the T-45. I flew the EDF version of the T-45 and it flew great. Super, it's a big baby. The turbine version is completely different. It's heavy and it comes in faster, but flies super stable and equally well. So I reached out and spoke to Stolt Productions and a couple other people about it to see how it flies, you know. So I do the research on the back end to try to help me out when I do it because believe it or not, all of these RC airplane reviews that me and Jeff have done and a couple of people have done, we've only crashed a handful of them on Maiden, like honestly. And normally we don't crash them on Maiden, and I better knock on wood. But we don't normally crash them on Maiden because like we do our pre-flights, we check everything. I make sure the balance is good. I make sure the CG is good. And I say a prayer before I take it up. You know, so there's a lot that goes up, but all in all, the way I get over it, man, is I just line it up and I look around. I say, "What you guys think?" And they're like, "Do it." And I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna send it." And I just, you know, dig my heels in, buckle down, and push the throttle forward and forget about everything else. So, yeah. And one other thing too is like just be prepared. You have to be prepared for anything, you know. I've had servos go out on airplanes, brand new airplanes, that we're doing a maiden flight video on, just go straight in. On the Banana Hobbies SU-27 that we just did, I was flying the thing and go full throttle, and my elevator came off mid-flight while we were rolling, and it's in the video. My elevator came off, and it wasn't Banana Hobby's fault or anything like that. It was my fault because I didn't install it properly. And so, like, you know, as doing these channels, we do the honest review thing here. I showed everything and I said, hey, man, it's my fault, so, but we just minimize that kind of thing. There's some things where there's certain level of anxiety that you need because it keeps you sharp, if that makes sense. Victor says anything with a narrow gear is difficult for a crosswind. Absolutely. Honestly, F-16s fly really, really nice, and I don't enjoy landing F-16s because their gear is narrow, like you just said. But they fly amazing. I just don't enjoy the landings of it. For some reason, I can't land it very well. Let's see. Hacker Hobbies says, not saying it's a problem, but when it's hot, you have to slow the exhale down, especially on the smaller turbines. Yeah, you're right. And just so you guys know, I leaned on Hacker Hobbies quite a bit when I was putting my airplane together. And he knows a ton about stuff. So when he says something like that, I pay close attention to it, and he's dead on. And he's another guy that does the research, and he makes good, solid decisions with these the turbine journey. So, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be flying turbines, to be honest with you. So, he's a local guy that's about 45 minutes away from us, and flies at Piedmont, and he's got a big turbine too, man. That he sent his, and he reported back that thing was awesome and it flew well. So, just the cool thing about having the channel and doing the live show is we have everybody in here that has a wealth of knowledge that can, we can all lean on each other. I know Will hits up and will ask questions to Guniak. Guniak for me is like the EDF dude that knows pretty much everything about EDFs, and he'll point you in the right direction. Victor RC Jeff has flown a bunch of stuff. I've watched him fly EDF jets, turbines, all kinds of stuff, and we've all crashed equally. So P-51 fan, he flies all kinds of crazy stuff. I've seen him fly too. So the cool thing about having this network that we have is we have a ton of people that are involved. So we can all kind of help each other. John Perry, he says the Freewing F4 Phantom 90mm 8S Maiden ready. I'm getting nervous. John Perry, let me tell you about that. The F4 Phantom 90mm. She flies good. Gets a little heavy in the turns, but she flies really good. And I don't think you have too much to worry about. The 8S, just know it flies a little bit heavier. Landings are perfectly fine. I think you're going to find it's a good bird, but throw them batteries in there, man, and send it, dude. Don't, what's the worst that could happen? A crash, it'll be perfectly fine, buddy. And it's foam, so we can glue it back, right? So it's kind of the mentality you have to have. Turn on, what's going on? He says, John Perry, just don't get slow in the turns and you'll be fine. Turn one is absolutely right. That's what the Achilles heel on that F4 Phantom in the turns. Get it too slow in the turns, as all airplanes, it will fall out of the sky. He's absolutely right. So there you have it. Mountain RC. He goes, what EDF surprised you on how easy it flew from takeoff to landing? Man, that's a tough question. I'll tell you. The MiG-29. The Freewing MiG-29 was probably, as big as that bird was, is the easiest, most forgiving big baby of an airplane that flies at 120 miles an hour out of the box. I think because of its size, it's large, and it's running on, 2.6S lipos, and it's a heavy bird. Man, I was super nervous about flying it. Also, it was a ton of money, man. So, but when I got it, I took off, and I love it when you're doing a maiden flight and you take off and you fly the airplane and it flies great. And you're like, oh, this is a big baby. A second airplane, and that's in the EDFs. And the landings on the MiG-29 are cake. It literally sets itself up. It makes you look good. It really does. Super surprised. Another little airplane. We'll talk about the 64 millimeters. What really blew my socks off was the Banana Hobby L39. That little joker blew my mind. I could not believe. Oh, I just see Rob Bender said that. The Fly Fans L39. I could not believe that little airplane flew as well as it did. And it handles the weight well, man. That little airplane surprised me. So it's just it's cool. Another airplane that surprised me was the Pilot RC uh, Dolphin turbine airplane. I took the thing off and it was just super stable. And I brought it around. It was just locked in. I was like, this is too easy. So, it's nice when you get those airplanes that fly really good. But again, do your research on the airplanes and figure out, if it's going to be what you like. A lot of times when I'm flying airplanes, I think about also like landings. We're crazy at our field. Me, Jeff, TJ, Will, and everybody else out there. We'll fly with the tail. We'll come in with the tailwind. A lot of people like you can't do that. We do it. We do it all the time. Does your airplane come in faster? Yeah, I think it's good because it teaches you how to, land in them oh crap moments when something goes wrong. You know, so um, I think it's that. But let's see, Mountain RC. Let's see, so the F-22 lands awesome. The PJ-50 is super smooth as well. But let's see here. Charles McDaniel, he says, for me, it was the e-flite 64 millimeter A10. Yeah, I flew that thing, man. I was surprised how smooth that little A10 was, too. That little thing was locked in, and it's a rocket. I think we clocked that sucker doing 100 miles an hour, just flying away. John Perry says F-22 and the A6 Intruder, favorite takeoff to landing superb. I will say the F-22 is just hands down awesome, but the A6 Intruder is an ugly airplane in my book, but it flies amazing and it looks amazing when it's coming in. It has the most scale like landings ever. RC Flying Veteran says Biden looks so lost right now. I mean, yeah, it's funny. And I try not to get too political or anything like that, but I will say it's very funny. I was watching a comedian. He was like, Biden reminds me of a Roomba, when it gets stuck, and it just kind of hits up and then it's like shuffling back and forth and it doesn't know if it should go this way, back and forth. Dude, I busted out laughing when I heard that. I said, oh my God. And then I went and looked and I was like, he does look like a Roomba sometimes, but the guy's old as Methuselah. So I just thought that was pretty funny. But you can like whoever you want. You can like Trump. You can like Biden. I don't care. My biggest thing is this. I always say this about everybody. We've got like almost 280 million people in this country. Like these are the best people that we actually have. Honestly, out of all these people, it's just very interesting. So you can like whoever you like. I don't care. I'm one of those guys in the middle of the road, and I just want who's best for the country, man. I don't care about all that left right stuff. I just want somebody who's solid, who cares about America, and is going to keep us flying and keep people happy and keep everybody safe and stabilize the world the best of the ability he can. And we just keep it nice and breezy. We be nice and cordial to our neighbors and our friends, but let them know that we got those sticks. So speak softly and carry a big stick. So that kind of thing. Roosevelt. So, but yeah, I thought that was funny though. The guy said he was like a Roomba. But anyway, guys, I said we are gonna have a shortened show tonight because they're having the debate. It started at 9 o'clock. We're 15 minutes into it. So I'm going to run for probably about another 20 minutes and then I'm going to shut the show down because I want you guys to watch the debates because I think it's important. And if you don't want to watch it, that's up to you. I don't care. But I want to watch it because, I like to be in tune with what's going on. And I always will vote for the person who I think is going to keep us flying these remote control airplanes the most and keep us less regulated. So, hey, there was one guy that says, hey, if you vote for me, I'll keep you guys flying remote control airplanes and you don't have to worry about FAA. Guess who I'm voting for? That dude. So anyway, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. But anyway, hey, what's going on, Spanish Cop? Good to have you in here, buddy. Mountain RC says, I was pretty surprised by the FMS Rafale 80 millimeter, but I love Deltas. Yeah, the Rafale was a good flying bird, man. It was a really good flying bird. But it was just, for me, it just was a lipos like sucker. It would just drain the heck out of it. So, hey, Rob Bender said it best: make America radio control again, right? I don't care who it is. But yeah, man, I just want to fly my airplanes. Leave me alone. Let me fly my airplanes. Keep us safe. And I'll stay over here in the corner. You don't have to worry about me. I'll be tinkering with the airplanes. And that's pretty much it. I just want to raise my family, be happy, and fly my airplanes and shoot my guns, and you know, keep this country good and squared away, right? And everybody be happy and kumbaya and hug and kiss. Maybe not the kiss. Let's see. Mount RC says keep the breeze under 10 miles an hour. That's right. Well, guys, look, it is now 40 minutes after. I told you we were going to shut this bad boy down. Before you leave, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Check out the review I did on this Super Timber. It's a phenomenal airplane. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. By the way, you see the banner down there, RaleighHobbyShop.com. They have been super supportive of our channel from day one. Check them out. If you want something, parts or RC airplanes, these guys can drop ship to you. And Tim, that owns the business, is an excellent guy. Make sure you talk to him and say, hey, I saw you on RC Plane Reviewers live show. Phenomenal people, man. Don't mind supporting the homegrown guys that support us. You got to have them. Also, Banana Hobby's been super supportive, and so is Hobby King. So I have a special place for those guys in my heart, and for the channel. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We hit it pretty hard. We hit it and quit it, and we kept it moving. And now it's time to throw a flashbang and let you guys watch the show. So, without further ado, I hope y'all have a good one. Take care of yourself. Stay cool. Keep flying. And hey, if you crash, pick up and carry on, man. Hit the reset button and go on. It's only money. There we go.